Hello students, today we'll start the first chapter of class 5th science, that is plant reproduction. What is the meaning of plant reproduction? It means how do plants produce their baby plants. In this chapter we will read about parts of seed, germination of seed, dispersal of seeds, vegetative propagation, crops and vegetables, good and healthy crop, protection of crops, storage of seeds and significance of plants. So let us start with the first topic, that is parts of seed. A seed has many parts. The outer protective covering of the seed is called the seed coat. This brown color, this is the seed coat. In the second picture also you can see this is the seed coat. Okay. There is a baby plant inside the seed. It is called the embryo. Now the seed has the baby plant. This is known as the embryo. Now the plant has two main things. One is the root and the other one is shoot. Root grows under the ground and shoot grows above the ground. The embryo has a tiny shoot called the plumule. This is the plumule and it grows above the ground, and a tiny root called radicle. This is the radicle which grows under the ground. These are the two parts of the embryo. Apart from this is known as the scar. This is the point to which it is attached to the plant or the fruit, and near this scar there is a tiny hole from which the water enters the seed. Now the embryo is surrounded by seed leaves called the cotyledons. In this picture, can you see the embryo, the baby plant? This is the baby plant, and it is surrounded by the two seed leaves. These are known as the cotyledons. Now what do these cotyledons do? They provide food to the seed. They give food to the seed, because in plant food is produced by leaves and in seed there is no leaves. So these cotyledons provide seed the food. Seeds of some plants like gram, pea, bean, etc. have two seed leaves. Such seeds are called dicotyledons or dicot. In this picture you can see this seed is having two seed leaves, 1 and 2. So it is a dicotyledon, and in this only one seed leaf is there. So it is called monocotyledons or monocot. And till the leaves grow in the plant, they provide the food, and after leaf has grown properly, they will prepare the food, and this cotyledons they dry up and fall down. Now our next topic is germination of seed. How do seeds germinate? How do seeds convert into the big plant? So growing of seed into a new plant is called germination. The process is known as germination. Now we'll read one by one. As I told you, the small opening, the tiny hole in the seeds, the water is absorbed from the hole, and when the water enters the seed, it makes the seed soft. And the first part that grows from the seed is the radicle. In this picture you can see a tiny root called radicle is growing. In the third seed you can see a tiny shoot which is known as plumule is growing from the seed. The seed with a small root and small shoot is called a seedling. In this picture you can see it is a tiny root also and a tiny shoot also. So it is called a seedling. Now our next topic is dispersal of seed. Now I want to ask you one question, that what will happen if all the seeds of the parent plant falls down there only, and if they will get the suitable condition for growth, they will start growing again into a plant. So dispersal of seed takes place. Through dispersal of seed, the seeds are scattered. The scattering of seeds away from the parent plant is called dispersal of seeds. There are some natural agents that help in the scattering of seeds. They are wind, water and animals. These natural agents, wind, water and animals, they help in the dispersal of seed. Dispersal of seeds also take place by the explosion of fruits. when the fruits they dry up, they dry up, they just explode, they burst, and the seeds are scattered. Now we'll read about this agents, this dispersal of seed in detail. You might have seen this light hairy seeds flying here and there. Yes, light and hairy seeds of cotton, madar, dandelion, etc. are carried away, far away by winds. Because these seeds are very light, very hairy, so they are easily carried away by wind, and wherever they get settled, and if they get the suitable condition for growth, suitable proper water they get, proper sunlight they get, they grow into a new plant. The next agent is the water. Seeds, fruit of lotus and outer covering of coconut makes them light. This helps the seed float on water and move long distances. Now seeds of this plant, they are very light and fibrous, so they float on water and move from one place to other. And if they settle down to other place and get proper nutrition or proper conditions for growth, they grow into a new plant. Now the next agent is the human beings and the animals. What we do? We eat the fruit and throw the seeds here and there. So do animals do. They also eat the fruit and throw the seeds here and there. And when the seeds get the proper condition for growth, they grow into a new plant. Now some of the seeds are very conical, or they have hooks or spines like given in the picture. Some seeds like burdock and cocklebur have hooks and spines. They get stuck to the fur, skin of animals, cloth of people and are carried away. Whenever we pass through these plants, these seeds are stuck to the fur, skin of animals and even clothes of people and are carried away from one place to the other. And if they will get the suitable condition for growth, they will grow into a new plants. Another way of dispersal of seed is through explosion of fruit. I told you seeds of pea and mustard are enclosed in pods. These pods burst open when ripe and dry. When these pods are dry, when they are ripe and they dry, the force of explosion helps in scattering of the seeds. So they burst. When they become dry, they burst and the seeds are scattered. So these were the dispersal of seeds. Now our next topic is vegetative propagation. Now we have seen how do plants grow from the seeds. Now we will learn about how do plants grow from the other parts of the plant. Besides seeds, new plants also grow from other parts such as roots, stems and leaves of the plant. This is called vegetative propagation, growing of plant from the other parts of the plant. Plants like bougainvillea, rose, potato, hibiscus, sugarcane are grown from stem cuttings. They have buds which grow into new plants. Now, can you see in this picture? Wait, I'll show you. In this picture, can you see this? These are the buds of the potatoes which are called as eyes. From this the new plants are grown. So you don't have to plant the seed because they are grown from the stem cuttings. In this picture also, it is grown from the stem cuttings. These are the example: bougainvillea, rose, potato, hibiscus, sugarcane. Now, next is onion and ginger are also grown from underground stem. This is the stem of the ginger and new plants are growing from it. Sweet potato, turnip, carrot are grown from their roots. They are grown from their roots. The leaves of bryophyllum and begonia give rise to the new plants. In this picture, can you see leaves growing of the bryophyllum plant? Here, yes, the leaves of the bryophyllum are giving rise to the new plants. There are some plants like mushroom and molds which do not produce seeds. Instead, they reproduce by spores. Now, what are spores? Spores are tiny round-like bodies which can be dispersed easily in various directions and grow into new plants. In the slide, you can see the picture of mushroom. Yes, these are the spores which grow into new plants and they can easily be carried away by wind. So this was vegetative propagation. Now our next topic is crops and vegetables. Now what are crops? Plants of same type grown in a particular area during a particular period of time are called crops. This is the definition of crops. Now crops are of two types, Rabi crops and Kharif crops. Crops like wheat, barley are grown in winter season from November to April. These are called Rabi crops. Kharif crops. Crops like rice, maize, jowar, bajra, jute and cotton are grown in summer season, that is from June to October. These are called Kharif crops. These are the definition and examples of Rabi crops and Kharif crops. Now, how do we get good and healthy crops? Before that, there are different suitable conditions for different crops. Rice and jute grow in clayey soil, wheat is grown in loamy soil, jowar and bajra are grown in sandy soil. So, for every crop, the suitable conditions are different. Now, how to get good and healthy crops? Good and healthy crops can be produced by preparing the soil in the right manner. Proper fertilizers, proper manure should be provided to the proper care of the soil should be taken. Adding the right amount of manure and fertilizer to make the soil fertile for the better and good quality crops. Irrigating the soil at the proper time. Spraying right amount of suitable insecticides and pesticides to grow crops from pests like grasshopper and caterpillar. Pest means the insects, and insecticides and pesticides are sprayed so that these insects do not spoil the crops. So if we will follow these steps, our crop will be good and healthy. Now how to protect the crops from animals, insects and how to store the seeds. The crops need to be protected against grazing animals like cows and goats. Cows and goat, what they do? They graze the grass field. So the crop should be protected by these animals. So how will protect? By fencing. In this picture you can see fencing is done in the agricultural field so that the animals couldn't enter. Bigger animals can be kept away by fencing the farm area. After harvesting, grains have to be protected against moisture, rats, birds, squirrel and insect. So the grains after harvesting, they should be kept at the proper place so that the rats, birds, squirrels and insect does not spoil the crops. They should be stored in airtight and sealed containers. Okay. So our last topic is significance of plants. Plants are the main sources of food. They give us cereals, pulses, vegetables, fruits, spices, dry fruits, sugar, oil, etc. Besides food items, they also provide us with wood, fiber, rubber, tea and coffee. Above all, they also give us oxygen to breathe. So that's why plants are important, because they provide us with a wide variety of food, and most important, they provide us with the oxygen for breathing. So this was our first chapter. Hope you understood the chapter. Now we'll do the book exercise of this chapter. So our first question is, take the correct answer. Plants grow well under plenty of heat, plenty of water, plenty of air, suitable conditions of air, water and warmth. Yes, the answer is suitable conditions of air, water and warmth. Our second question is, the growing of plants on a large scale is called plantation, agriculture, sowing, reaping. What is called? Agriculture. Cabbage and cauliflower are the vegetables of summer, spring, autumn and winter. And the answer is winter. Rabi crops are grown in summer, spring, autumn, winter. Rabi crops are grown in winter. Okay. So next question is, write true or false. A good crop adds to the wealth of the country. True or false? A good crop adds to the wealth of the country? Yes. So it is true. Grasshoppers and caterpillars are good for our crops. Are they good for our crops? No, they spoil our crops. All seeds of a plant do not grow into new plants. All seeds grow into a new plant? The answer is no. They do not grow because some of the seeds do not get the suitable condition for growth. Overuse of chemical fertilizer is good for the soil? The answer is again no, because too much of overuse of chemical fertilizer again spoil the quality of soil in the crop. The last is, the stems of plants like bryophyllum can grow into new plants? No, they are grown from the leaves. Bryophyllum are grown from the leaves. So we have completed the chapter 1 and book exercise also. Now you have to write question answer from the PDF file on the website of the school. From there you can get the PDF file and you have to write the question answer in your copy, science copy with the blue gel pen. Okay students, thank you for watching.